So let's talk about the latest updates regarding TD Jakes, Todd Bentley, and the Joni Lamb Daystar situation, and then I'll share some of my own thoughts about all of this. TD Jakes, the 67-year-old founder of the Potter's House megachurch in Dallas, Texas, experienced a medical incident during a sermon on Sunday, November 24, 2024. While delivering his message, he began to shake involuntarily and had to sit down and required immediate medical attention.
Let him go in peace.
Following the incident, the Potter's House released a statement confirming that TD Jakes is stable and under medical care. A statement from the Potter's House of Dallas, November 24, 2024. During today's service, Bishop TD Jakes experienced a slight health incident and received immediate medical attention following his powerful hour-long message. Bishop Jakes is stable and under the care of medical professionals. The entire Potter's House family is grateful for the outpouring of love, prayers, and support from the community. Thank you for your understanding and continued prayers. Sarah Jakes Roberts and her husband, Tori Roberts, provided an update via Instagram stating that he is recovering well and expressed gratitude for the community's prayers and support.
It's going with Bishop. We want to thank you first of all for your prayers, your support, your concern. It's truly been a blessing.
Yeah, we felt those prayers. Obviously today could have been a tragic day, but it wasn't. By the mercy of God, by the grace of God, Bishop is doing well. He's recovering well. He's under medical care. He's strong. We're trying to get him to sit down. He's the strong bishop that we know, but we really can't thank you enough for your prayers, for your intercession, for all your kind words, and keep it up. People ask him, what can we do? Keep praying, keep encouraging. It means a lot to our family.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that he's already beginning to improve. And I think it's just a reminder, even going into this holiday season week, to love on the people who you hold near and dear, and just take the time to be grateful for all the people God's given you.
Thank you. We love you. Appreciate you.
There was online speculation suggesting that TD Jakes may have suffered a stroke, but official statements haven't confirmed this diagnosis. The church has described the event as a slight health incident, and medical professionals have ruled out a stroke but continue testing. Let's be in prayer for TD Jakes and his family as they navigate through this medical scare. I'll share some more thoughts about TD Jakes later in the video. On Sunday, November 24, Todd Bentley, who is known for performing faith healings similar to Benny Hinn, posted these images on his X account along with this message. Dear friends and prayer warriors, I want to take a moment to share an update on Todd and invite you into fervent prayer with us as we walk through this moment together. As many of you already know, last night was nothing short of a whirlwind. Todd experienced a sudden and intense seizure-like episode and had to be sedated. Despite several attempts, the doctors were unable to wake him up. It was one of those moments where we didn't know what to do except cry out to the Lord. But let me tell you, what happened at 3 a.m. is nothing short of miraculous. By God's grace and power, Todd woke up without any medical assistance. The doctors had tried repeatedly to rouse him without success, and yet on his own, Todd came out of it, wide awake, responsive, and even able to stand. This is a miracle. We know many of you have been praying, and we are already seeing the fruits of those prayers. Just one quick comment here. I don't think it's obvious that Todd waking up by himself is necessarily a miracle. Maybe I just don't know how these things work, but I feel like people usually eventually wake up after fainting or falling unconscious. Right now, however, Todd is by no means out of the woods. The doctors are baffled and are preparing to run an MRI within the next hour to determine what caused this episode and why it was so severe. We are praying for wisdom for the medical team and for conclusive answers that provide a clear path forward. This ordeal has been incredibly hectic and traumatic for the girls who were present through it all. They are little radical prayer warriors in their own right, but we ask for your prayers as they process everything they witnessed. We know your intercession will cover their hearts and minds with peace and comfort. Online giving. Another quick comment here. Maybe this is just me, but it feels a little insincere to ask for money in the same breath as sharing something so personal about Todd's health, especially coming from a prosperity preacher like Todd Bentley. This kind of gives the impression that they're trying to use this situation to milk followers for even more money than what they have already told their followers to give. As Thanksgiving approaches, the timing of this adds another layer of challenge, but we are steadfast in our belief that God will turn it for His glory. We are standing on His promises for a total miracle and clarity in the days ahead. We know the incredible call, destiny, and mission on Todd's life. And we also know the army of prayer warriors we are blessed to be connected to. You are some of the most faithful, engaged intercessors we've ever known. and we are deeply grateful for your immediate action in lifting up Todd and our family during this time. Please pray specifically for Todd's complete healing, clarity from the doctors, and strength for the road ahead. Finally, we want to express how deeply we appreciate all of your love, prayers, and support. If the Lord places it on your heart to be a supernatural blessing to Todd and our family during this time, we've included giving links below. Your prayers mean everything to us, and your sensitivity to the Lord's prompting is such a tangible expression of his faithfulness. I'm going to stop reading the post here and not show the information below about giving options, because while my heart and prayers go out to Todd regarding the scare he just experienced, I think there are very good reasons for people not to be supporting his ministries in any way, which we'll talk more about later. The next day, on November 25, Todd posted a personal update on X. I wonder if you can guess what Todd includes in his update post. A personal update from Todd Bentley, personally from the hospital. Dear friends and partners, I hope this message finds you well. I want to share a brief update on my recent health situation and to reach out for your support during this recovery period. Just 3 days ago, while enjoying a movie with my family, I suddenly collapsed and became unresponsive. Initially, the medical team suspected a seizure or stroke, but after a series of tests, including a CT scan and x-rays, they ruled those out. I was admitted to the ICU for critical care due to my unresponsiveness. Just a random thought here. I know the medical incidents of TD Jakes and Todd Bentley have nothing to do with each other, but it's just kind of strange that both of their medical incidents happened at right around the exact same time and with very similar symptoms. Now, I'm not saying any of this means anything. I'm just saying it's kind of weird. At 3 a.m., I experienced a miraculous awakening, and while I was traumatized and confused by the sudden shift from family time to being intubated in a hospital bed, I know that your prayers played a significant role in my recovery. The doctors conducted further tests and found that my overall health is good, but they have been focused on managing my dangerously high blood pressure, which they believe is linked to uncontrollable stress. I'm grateful to be in the hands of a dedicated medical team that is working diligently to stabilize my condition. However, I recognize that I need to take the rest of the year off to fully recover and regain my strength. During this time, I humbly ask for your support. Your financial contributions are vital to our ministry, especially as I take a step back to focus on healing and recovering over the next month. I plan to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with my family, and I anticipate being ready to return to my normal schedule of traveling and preaching after this period. If you feel led to donate, it would mean the world to me and my family, allowing us to continue our mission while I recover. Again, I'm praying for a full recovery for Todd, but I do find it a little strange that he's once again asking for money from his followers, even though someone else had just asked for money already the day before. And again, I won't show the rest of the post with the giving options because of my serious concerns with Todd's ministry, which we will talk more about later. Recent allegations have surfaced involving Joni Lamb, president of Daystar Television Network, regarding the handling of sexual abuse claims within her family and the organization. These accusations have been brought forward by her son, Jonathan Lamb, and his wife, Susie. Jonathan and Susie Lamb alleged that in August 2021, during a Daystar executive retreat in Miramar Beach, Florida, they discovered a male family member and Daystar employee, referred to as Pete, in a compromising situation with their 5-year-old daughter.
Well, I mean, when I walked up there and I saw Pete up there with my daughter, I was horrified. The first thing I started doing was screaming, "What are you doing?" Like, obviously, since his hands weren't on my daughter, he wasn't in the act, he was just in the room with her. I wasn't at that time about to put hands on him or beat him up, but obviously I was horrified and I was just shouting him down, and that led to him multiple times, probably 50 times, saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." So again, it felt like I had caught him red-handed.
Yeah. When I saw Jonathan, we've been married at that point, how many years? 10 years?
10 years.
I had never in my 10 years ever seen Jonathan look like this. It was honestly terrifying. His eyes were bloody red. His face was blood red. He was screaming so aggressively. And that man, who is, taller than Jonathan and much more smooth, he was shaking like a leaf. Part of my anger, which I've expressed to other journalists, is that that man was so vulnerable. I felt like he was
on the verge of confessing.
If he had not been protected, he couldn't speak up for himself. I'm going to leave that there. It seemed that way to me. That's how it seemed to me, until the situation was taken control of.
They claimed that upon reporting this incident to Joni and the late Marcus Lamb, the couple prioritized protecting the accused relative and the ministry's reputation over addressing the abuse.
Then a few days later, my father calls me and my brother-in-law into his office. He tells us that Pete has been cleared by this forensic examiner and that we need to submit and move forward.
Yeah, and all we ever knew in our lives, all we had ever done is obey and submit. We had never questioned.
Yeah.
And
so
even though I had big, strong doubts, I was angry. I'm not going to just lie and say that, I moved on. No, it was a big struggle. But the way that we were trained, God is our witness, Jonathan and I, you are going to be the future leaders. You have to take the lower road. You have to bring family unity. You have to do what it takes to be the bigger person. Go golf with him. You go have coffee, apologize to her, do whatever it takes to be friendly and loving. And that is the character of Christ. And we did it with all our hearts. We didn't perform. We weren't fake about it. We truly did it with all our hearts.
Yeah, it was very difficult, obviously, to move forward after that. Still, I had legitimate concerns, but at the end of the day, I trusted that my dad had actually gone through the process of clearing Pete with this examiner.
Yeah.
And we moved forward.
According to the Lambs, no report was made to authorities, and the incident was handled internally. In addition to the 2021 incident, Susie Lamb had disclosed a personal experience from January 2017, where she alleges she was sexually assaulted by an unlicensed chiropractor hired by Daystar. She claims that after reporting the assault to Marcus and Joni Lamb, she was instructed to remain silent to protect the ministry's image. Daystar Television Network has denied these allegations. In a statement, the network asserted that a thorough internal investigation was conducted regarding the 2021 incident, concluding with no evidence of wrongdoing. Regarding Susie's 2017 claim, Daystar acknowledged awareness of the incident, but stated that the chiropractor was immediately released from his duties and denied any cover-up or discouragement from reporting to authorities. This is not the first time Daystar has faced such controversies. In 2010, Marcus Lamb publicly admitted to an extramarital affair, leading to lawsuits from former employees alleging sexual harassment and wrongful termination. These lawsuits were eventually withdrawn without any financial compensation to the plaintiffs. Joni Lamb has responded to this situation with a video that has received a lot of criticism, which we will talk about.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to take a few minutes today to speak from my heart to the Daystar family and friends. Recently, Daystar made the decision to terminate my son, Jonathan Lamb's employment. That decision was not taken lightly. It followed a 15-month review of Jonathan's performance and his refusal to take any steps to satisfy a detailed performance improvement plan put in place.
A lot of people are pointing out that Joni never at all mentions the allegations of the sexual assault of Jonathan's 5-year-old daughter, which is a pretty big part of this whole controversy, which seems kind of suspicious.
He also refused my offer to participate in a formal mediation to resolve grievances in a biblical and professional manner. Rather than take any steps to improve his performance at Daystar, it seems clear now that Jonathan was focused on fabricating a smear campaign. You see, Jonathan was extremely disappointed that he was not named the future president of Daystar following the death of his father and my husband, Marcus Lamb, despite the fact that Marcus had given a clear directive to the family and to the board that I would succeed him as president. Jonathan's disappointment in not getting his way only deepened when I married Dr. Doug Weiss, who has been such a blessing to me, the rest of my family, and Daystar. I can tell you that as a mother, as a grandmother, this situation saddens me deeply, and it grieves my heart because I love my family. I love all my children. I love my grandchildren. I love the work we've done together for so many years. And I had hoped that we could have resolved the situation in private. But now, Jonathan has given me no choice except to speak out. Everyone knows that we have dedicated our lives to spreading the love of Jesus, and to see it attacked by my son Jonathan and his wife is truly heartbreaking. I want to assure you that all the allegations that are circulating against myself and my late husband are completely false. We have already begun to take legal steps to defend ourselves, and we will address the accusations in a God-honoring way.
A lot of people are also commenting on the fact that Joni seems to be prioritizing Daystar over her relationship with her very own son and his family. She seems to be saying that she will be suing Jonathan to silence his accusations against her. And it seems kind of weird that the founder of such a large Christian organization would be in a lawsuit with her very own son.
We stand firm in our faith, knowing that God is with us, and his purpose for Daystar is far greater than any present challenge we may be facing. While this attack is very painful and wrong, I know that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against a spiritual enemy who seeks to destroy and divide no matter what the cost. I want to ask you for your prayers. Thank you for your continued love and support. Our team here at Daystar will keep you updated. Again, thank you for your prayers. God bless you.
This video from Joni was not received well at all because it seemed to not address some of the most serious allegations. And it came across that she was completely throwing her son Jonathan under the bus while portraying herself as having done absolutely nothing wrong.
Julie, it's her due diligence to contact Daystar and my mother and the family members to get their side of the story. So she contacts them on Friday, November 15th. And I was subsequently fired the following day on a Saturday, November 16th. Now, throughout my time at Daystar, no employee has ever been fired on a weekend. We just don't do that. We fire people typically at the end of the day. A lot of times it's on a Friday. So there's a proper exit procedure. So this was clearly a retaliation from me talking to the media. They wanted to fire me immediately after that. It's the day after Julie reports her story.
And how did they?
But the situation gets even more complicated when we consider some suspicious things that Jonathan is communicating as well. Here's an email from Jonathan to Joni where he says something pretty disturbing. This email was shared by Joni, who comments, Jonathan's disappointment escalated to the point where he attempted to blackmail his way into becoming the future president of Daystar. Joni's comment is in response to Jonathan's email, which reads, we remain willing to put this episode behind us. However, we also require security, transparency, and certainty about our futures at Daystar. To achieve this goal, we would suggest that Joni, Daystar, and ourselves enter into a new contract that clearly spells out my future role as president of Daystar, restricts the ability of Joni or any other officer or director from taking actions adverse to our employment without good cause, to be clearly defined, and without prior approval of a majority of the board of directors. In exchange for the agreement contemplated above, we will agree not to use, disseminate, or otherwise publish any and all audio recordings that could be harmful or embarrassing to Daystar, Joni, or our family. So is Jonathan basically saying that he's willing to completely ignore the sexual assault situation regarding his 5-year-old daughter if they just agree to make him the president of Daystar? That kind of seems like prioritizing Daystar again over his own family. To be honest, I have no idea who's in the right and who's in the wrong here.
They sent me a letter while I was at the grocery store, mind you. I got a notification and it said this: Texas Defamation Mitigation Act request for correction, clarification, or retraction of statements made by Nick Jones in connection with the video uploaded by myself on my YouTube channel. It says, Dear Mr. Jones, that's me. I represent Daystar Television Network and Joni Lamb. Pursuant to the Texas Defamation Mitigation Act, please let this letter serve as a formal written request for a correction or retraction of statements that were recently made in a video uploaded on the Nick Von Jones YouTube channel.
I think it's possible to both be in prayer for TD Jakes, while at the same time recognize that Jakes has done enormous damage to the gospel of Jesus Christ, with his blatant promotion of the prosperity gospel, among other heresies such as modalism, which is a denial of the Trinity.
TD Jakes is, amongst other things, aside from being wildly charismatic, word of faith, prosperity gospel, he is also a modalist. He denies the Trinity. That is on his website. He believes in one God in three manifestations. That's not the same thing as three persons. That's modalistic language. So that alone puts him outside of Christianity.
TD Jakes is unfortunately an extremely popular and influential false teacher who is actually an enemy of the Jesus that he claims to preach about, and his teachings should pretty much completely be avoided by all true Christians. Similar to TD Jakes, while we should certainly be in prayer for Todd Bentley, Todd is arguably even more evil than TD Jakes, in terms of just how bad, or even demonic, his teachings are.
He is one of the darkest, most deranged of the false teachers out there. This is a man, if you're unfamiliar with him, who has claimed, among other things, that God told him to kick an elderly woman in the face with his biker boot. I kid you not.
And there's this older lady worshiping right in front of the platform. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me. The gift of faith came on me. He said, kick her in the face with your biker boot. I inched closer and I went like this. Bam! And just as my boot made contact with her nose, she fell into the power of God.
And has also kicked and punched a number of people. I myself saw him do this in person. He kicked a man with stage 4 stomach cancer, I think it was colon cancer, kicked him in the gut, no less. Todd Bentley is, if there's anybody darker than Kenneth Copeland, it would be Todd Bentley. I really, without any hyperbole, believe that Todd Bentley is demon-possessed. I believe Kenneth Copeland is too, but Todd Bentley certainly is. He's truly just a wicked, vile human being.
I think we could even tell from the 2 X posts we already went over that there's something a little weird about how constantly Todd has been asking for money in the midst of this medical emergency. Like with TD Jakes, Todd is also unfortunately an enemy of true Christianity and the true gospel of Jesus Christ, and his teachings should also be avoided by all true Christians. Even if these public scandals involving her son Jonathan had never blown up, Joni and Daystar are just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than both TD Jakes and Todd Bentley. Daystar platforms many of the most heretical prosperity preachers out there.
Daystar platforms and promotes some of the most egregious false teachers around today, and they do so proudly. Daystar, along with TBN, is the tip of the spear of the Word of Faith movement, Word of Faith theology, health and wealth, prosperity gospel. The Daystar platforms some of the worst of the worst. Sid Roth, who is absolutely Looney Tunes. Joel Osteen, who compromises on the exclusivity of Christ. Hank Kuhneman, who's a comically false prophet, just been proven over and over and over. Paula White, who is, again, one of the worst of the worst. Creflo Dollar. Kenneth Copeland, along with Todd Bentley, as I said a few moments ago, Kenneth Copeland is one of the darkest heretics ever to disgrace the name of Christ. If Kenneth Copeland is not a false teacher, no one is. The term has absolutely no meaning. So Daystar, despite their claim of spreading the gospel of Jesus, what they're spreading is the teaching of false teachers, heretics, proven false prophets, shysters, charlatans, hucksters who fleece people, prey upon the poor and the sick and the desperate and the widows.
The purpose of this video isn't to make light of the very serious situations of TD Jakes, Todd Bentley, and Joni Lamb. It's to both bring awareness to what's happening so that we can be in prayer for these difficult and complicated situations, while at the same time provide warning about the very real dangers of each of these 3 ministries. As Christians, it's important to be discerning about which Christian leaders and ministries we should trust. We should be trusting Christian leaders who teach the Bible, not ones who distort the Bible to enrich themselves.
On the list, health, wealth, prosperity, success, all temporal, material things. None of that we heard Jubilant singing about. Now, if all that sounds familiar to you, but you say, I didn't read The Secret, but that sounds so familiar. You have been watching TBN. That's what you've been doing. You have been exposed to this lie, this deception, this pagan pantheistic perspective that has been turned into a spiritual Ponzi scheme, making the people at the top of the food chain rich, preying on the desires, the material, worldly desires of the people who want all this stuff. Comes under the name the Word of Faith movement, prosperity gospel, name it and claim it. It's being advocated by people like Benny Hinn, Marilyn Hickey, Frederick Price, Joyce Meyer, Kenneth Copeland, Kenneth Hagin, Robert Tilton, a man named Kuntz, Oral Roberts, Paul Crouch, on and on and on. That's what they say. They all claim the same thing. As a Christian, you have the personal power to recreate life's reality into exactly what you want it to be. And they do it in the name of Jesus. All this in the name of Jesus. It is a lie. It is a blasphemous lie. It is a lie that preys on the weak and the desperate and preys on the people who have nothing but fallen, corrupt, unregenerate, normal human desires. Oh, it works. It makes the predators rich because everybody sends them the money. That's how you trigger it. That's how you prove your faith. And everybody else is disappointed. Now, what is the source of this? Where does this come from? Answer, Satan. This is satanic. This is satanic. This is not just off-center. This is satanic.
Hi, my name is Mike. I'm a deacon, a husband, a father, a software engineer, and an amateur maker of videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to help me in my mission to spread biblical truth, just subscribe and watch these videos until the end, which will help the YouTube algorithm recommend these videos to more people. I'm committed to using the skills and gifts God has given me to glorify Him and communicate biblical truth, and I would be so grateful if you would come be a part of what I'm building. You can visit my website at joyfulexile.com to learn more about me and what I'm working on. I hope you're having a blessed day. I will see you in the next video, and remember, this world is not our home.